yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab. Go create your move. I got a crib out of water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shouting you my little mama. I got a crib.
What's good, everybody? It's 99 Miles Per Hour Podcast with me, your host, Percy Garner. And if you're new here, we appreciate you stopping by. If you enjoy the content, please give us a like and a subscribe. And, you know, we're doing more than podcasts now. We have some pitching tip videos up as well, so I hope you're enjoying that. But if you want to check out our merch and everything there is to know about me and behind the scenes and more information and how to contact me, just go visit percygarner.com. I would appreciate that. And if you want to talk baseball, pitching, maybe some hitting, there will be a link to my Discord down there as well, trying to build a baseball community there. So try to be real short and sweet with my announcements before we get into this. But we have two guests today who are, representing the Cy Young Days Festival, which I was a part of years ago because they couldn't get anyone else. And but it's a great event. I was, just like a lot of great things in Tuscarawas County, I was unaware until I got involved, and now I'm an advocate and try to, share information. So, and that's why they're here today. So without further ado, I want to introduce President Ed Gibson and a board member here from last year, if you guys remember, Dave Boyer.
And if you don't remember me, that's understandable.
Well, I think, I've been slacking. So there was only been like 10 episodes since you guys have been here last time. And that's when I really was like, wow, I need to get my life together, because once I saw that you guys were here on episode 84 and now it's only episode 94, I'm like, but this is a new season, so technically people won't even know that. I just told them myself. But anyways,
you can edit that out.
Exactly. That's why we got Josh here. But no, I'm excited to share what the Cy Young Days Festival is about, and just talk about Newcomerstown, and you guys claim Cy Young and Woody Hayes, and there's a lot of things that came out of Tuscarawas County and specifically Newcomerstown than I initially thought. And I talked about that last episode, or last time you guys were here. And I just wish I knew all this stuff, because it would have gave me more confidence and belief that it was possible to do something big like Cy Young did. But without further ado, I want you guys to, I guess, introduce yourself, how you got involved with Cy Young, and then we'll talk about the Grand Marshal that will be, joining and basically the main event, or the main attraction for Cy Young Days Festival. We'll talk about him. So, Ed, since you're the president, won't you get started? Because we missed out on you last year. You were going through some health issues, and now we're glad you're here and back. But you left us with Jeremy. I mean, you could have gave us someone better than that. But no, we love Jeremy.
Jeremy's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. But if you want to give introduce yourself, and obviously I already told him your name, but just how you got involved with Cy Young Days Festival.
All right. About 24 years ago, a young lady by the name of Jane Bennington Mueller, which was Cy Young's caretaker. When Cy got out of baseball, he was broke. He lived with the Benningtons. She was about 4 years old at the time, and got known as Cy and the Kid. When she turned 14, the state of Ohio gave her a special driver's license so she could haul Cy around. Wow. She was living with her daughter in Florida. She contacted me. She still got the Newcomerstown News. I was involved with the youth baseball program for a lot of years. So she called me and asked me if I could try to get the Cy Young Day Festival started again. I said, Jane, I make you no promises, but I'll see what happens. This is 24 years, but our 23rd festival this year, because COVID
awesome.
Done us out of 1 year.
Yeah. I mean, COVID did that to a lot of things. Yep. So, but dang, 23 years, huh?
Our third festival we had Jane flowing in from Florida. I actually got to meet the lady, and about 16 hours a day, the 3 days she was there, I spent time with her.
That's awesome.
She was a little fireball, and she was a lot of fun to be around. And just listening to the stories that she was telling me about Cy Young, I said, Jane, please write a book. She never did. She's been going about 3 years now. her ashes are actually buried by Cy Young's grave right now.
Really?
So
That's awesome.
So that lady got me involved, and here we are, say 24 years later, and we're still at it.
That's awesome. And, you know, I got to experience the festival, and it was great. I'm glad you guys didn't make me run in the, what is it, a 5K?
The 5K.
Yeah. I'm so glad I wore a suit just to try to get out of that. But there's a lot of events and all that. But before we get to the events, I want to, you know, talk to Dave a little bit and just let, you know, Dave talk about how he got involved, just as a reminder, in case, you know, people forgot.
Well, I've kind of been an involved person throughout my entire adult life.
Still haven't evolved to a Guardians fan, but
I haven't gone.
I'm working on it.
In my profession, I'm a pharmacist. I was involved in pharmacy organizations, and I just enjoy interacting with the people and having a chance to help build something that is meaningful for the community. And I'd gone down, we moved down to Newcomerstown after I'd retired from working on hospitals, and met Ed and got to talking with him, got involved in the festival, and I enjoy having the chance to interact with the people, having the chance to throw out ideas, try and come up with new things to try and keep things lively.
Yeah. And we might talk, I might ask you about some new ideas you got, or just some things you've added over the years, even if it was, you know, the year before mine or the year I went. Yeah, we can talk about that as well. But I mean, that's you know, that's why I do what I do. It's because people. So yeah. And I'm sorry if I cut you off. I'm very good at doing that.
That's okay. And actually, that's one of the things we need to work on, is to get more people involved. There's so many people who don't understand what Cy Young means. You know, like Ed said, he has gotten phone calls from people saying, "What's a CY Young?" You know, and that
way too many times.
Yeah, we need to keep that alive, because I'm assuming people, even if they're baseball fans, they just know it's an award. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know who it's named for. It was the first award in baseball that was named for a player.
Dang.
They have since added, like the batting award, they've now named for, was it Roberto Clemente?
Yeah.
So, but it's the only award that from its inception was named for a specific person.
That's awesome.
Just because of everything that he had accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, too bad I wasn't good enough to win it. But we got someone who did.
Yes, we do.
Well, you guys got someone who did. So let's talk about the Grand Marshal, who obviously isn't going to be as good as I was. But because, you know, he's won a Cy Young, so obviously he was a better pitcher than me. But let's talk about who we got, who won a Cy Young in 2003. But who's our Grand Marshal this year? Who wants to deliver the news?
Eric Gagne pitched for the Dodgers. He won the Cy Young 2003. He had 55 saves that year. He had 1 win and 2 losses. So 56 of their wins was with him on the mound. So that's pretty outstanding. No wonder he won the Cy Young.
Yeah, and I mean, he was pretty lights out. I remember. I feel like the only hit I remember him giving up. Now I know he's given up hits, but only hit I remember him giving up was to Barry Bonds, and
a lot of people did that.
Yeah, I was about to say he doesn't count. So, but no, that's awesome. I mean, to have someone like Percy Garner a few years ago, and then now have. No, it's pretty cool. And you said he even, you know, took a smaller amount to come here because he really wanted to see the grave, and that wasn't on my mind. And then until you guys mentioned it, and then when I went out there, it was a different experience. And I'm so glad that, you know, I live close to Newcomerstown, and I was able to experience that for the first time in that moment as a Grand Marshal. And man, it's just. It's something that I'm glad that people that don't know or don't live around here get exposure to our lovely county and all the things we have here. Yeah.
And you're not the only player that has been really impacted by going out to the site last year.
Really?
It was amazing.
Go ahead.
All right. We were there at the gravesite. Everybody was there. We got pictures and everything with the ball player and everything.
Who was it? I'm drawing a blank too now.
John Denny.
John Denny. Yeah,
John
that's
Denny.
what-
And he was looking over at the pasture field and the cows there. He goes, that's the same kind of cows we had when I was a kid.
No way.
And everything. And then he wanted to go back up to the gravesite by himself just to take everything in.
That's awesome.
Just
And he was just standing there, just kind of looking and contemplating and just absorbing the whole aura of the whole place. It was really touching to see him doing that.
Yep.
That's awesome. I mean, I know because where was he? I know he spent most of his childhood and stuff in New Cumberstown, right? Because I know he was born in a different. Was it
Pioli.
Pioli.
He was born in Gilmore.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then ended up living in Pioli.
Okay. And I know he was a pitcher who, and I know players nowadays probably can't imagine this. I mean, their off season is full of just workouts and probably relaxing. But he came home to a farm and worked.
Yep.
Because
His off season
wasn't off. It was just not baseball.
No.
You don't really want to call it off season.
which was probably better conditioning than what a lot of the players have these days.
True.
Yeah.
That is true. I just know that's pretty impressive. Obviously won, 511 games, all the strikeouts, all the stuff, and all the most of his games were complete games, which is unheard of. And none of his records are going to get broken just because it's impossible, especially the way we treat pitchers now, which is obviously good for their health. But I feel like, Cy Young was a good example of how electronics and stuff were, I would say if you bought a washer now, it'd probably last you 4 or 5 years, but 40 years ago, it's probably going to last you 20, maybe 30. I know some people are like, hey, we have 30-year-old ovens. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like we bought our oven 3 years ago, and I'm already like, we got to get a new oven here soon.
Yeah.
But, and with all the sports science, you feel like it'd be different. But it's just incredible what he was able to accomplish over his career.
Cy Young, when he kind of adopted New Cumberstown as his hometown, he was a member of the clubs, the Elks, the Moose, things like that.
Nice.
All right. You'll go out to his gravesite, and a lot of times you'll see quarters on the grave.
Oh, yeah.
People would ask, why people put quarters up there? I said, that's what a draft beer cost back then, was a quarter, so people would leave quarters for him. So you get him a
Imagine.
draft beer.
Imagine how much we would drink if the drinks were a quarter nowadays. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I do remember, there's just stories like that most people don't know.
Right.
Especially someone like me, I knew who Cy Young was. Didn't know that he, grew up 30 minutes away from me. But obviously I wasn't born at the time he was. But for you guys, what does it mean to continue the legacy? I know you were saying, you got to, kind of get this thing going back again, and it's been going for 23 years now. But, Dave, what's it mean to you to, obviously you got involved because of the people and just trying to carry on this legacy. But what does the legacy of Cy Young mean to New Cumberstown?
Well, first off, you got to stop and think. How can a town the size of New Cumberstown, how many people we got? 1,500, 2,000?
There are approximately 3,000 right
About
now.
3,000.
Dang, okay.
Home of both Cy Young and Woody Hayes. I mean, what are the odds of that happening?
Yeah.
Obviously, there was something special going on there. to have two sports figures of that caliber come out of a town that size is unfathomable to me.
For sure.
And and a lot of people don't realize it. People in the area don't realize it. And it's something that they really need to take pride in, take ownership of, and really make it known, just to highlight the location, highlight the area, and bring some fame to the area. Because obviously in Southeast Ohio, there's not a whole lot that's really extremely positive in Southeast Ohio.
Yeah.
And we need to highlight the good that we can.
Yeah.
That's why one of the reasons why I enjoy doing it. I never really considered myself a history buff, but in the last 3 years with having a grandson who went to West Point, I've gotten much more involved in history, and it has become a lot more meaningful to me. And wanting people to remember these things and why we have the award and why we named the award for him. It's becoming more important as we go.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm becoming old history myself too, but
Well, I mean, that's the goal. Hopefully I'm blessed, God willing, that I live as long as you guys and continue to, make an impact on, people around me. So, but the one thing I wanted to touch on while you were talking about that was I didn't even know until I went to the museum, because there's a beautiful museum in Newcomerstown as well, that Woody Hayes was actually from Newcomerstown, because, some other places might be trying to take credit. I mean, I don't know if that's the New Philly Quakers, but no, but, I just assumed he grew up in New Philly then, since the stadium was based off of, him and all that. I didn't, not many people go and research a lot of things. You just take information that's presented in front of you that might not always be, it might be opinionated, and we just kind of, assume it consume it as gospel or as fact. So that was pretty cool that I got to go to the museum and see all the cool things, and then be like, wow, like, I didn't even realize that. And that is remarkable to have it, because Dover's small, but Dover's 12,000. And for Newcomerstown, that be, and who knows what it was back then. So that's pretty amazing. Now, you said this is the 23rd consecutive year, or no, you had to take one off.
We had to take one off for COVID.
But I want to hear it, even if you have some too, Ed, but I want to hear some of the things that maybe have changed that I'm not aware of. And I think I asked a couple of times, like, hey, how did this used to happen? I know that times are different now. Are you guys trying to advance or change some things to maybe spark new life into it? And you can just say, hey, 10 years ago we made this change, which, made doubled the attendance or whatever it is. If you can think of anything along those lines, I'd love to hear that. And how it's changed the Cy Young Days Festival.
Right. When we first started, we actually did the Cy Young Festival at our youth baseball program down at the ball fields.
Oh, okay.
And we weren't bringing former Cy Young Award winners in, and it was some other ball players weren't Cy Young ball players.
Gotcha.
And we did that, and then it wasn't enough space, so we ended up moving it uptown, which still is not enough space and never will be.
Yeah.
But just one of the guys, you said Dick's place, Dick Miller, suggested to us that if Cy Young Festival, why don't we bring in a Cy Young Award winner? And we started doing that. And then we progressed. We actually started giving Cy Young jackets out to some of the Cy Young Award winners. The team had to agree to it, the player had to agree to it, and the agent had to agree to it. So that eliminated quite a few of them.
Yeah, I bet.
But we either went to Pittsburgh, give out National League, or we went to Cleveland, give out the American League ones. And we haven't done that for a while because it's so hard to be able to get a ball player that you're allowed to give the jacket to.
True.
So,
true. Gotcha.
So that's something we didn't start from the beginning. We added that, and it just added a little more excitement to us to get to go meet current Cy Young Award winners.
Of course.
And it was a lot of fun. I know
think that's a great idea, though, and I feel like I'm hoping maybe you can do it to Shane Bieber someday or something like that.
Awesome. The first one of the first ones we went to, I had my 12-year-old granddaughter, which is the mother of my great-grandson right now.
Okay.
We went to Pittsburgh. Clayton Kershaw. That's when he won his first Cy Young. Down on the field, balls roll over to her. They let her keep them. Well, she got Clayton Kershaw to sign all 80 of those baseballs.
That's awesome.
That she got. But we've been able to see players like that. Felix Hernandez. We went to Cleveland.
That's awesome.
We got his agent goes, he might spend 5 minutes with you, and he autographs nothing for anybody. Well, 45 minutes later, he autographed everything we had, and he showed interest. He asked us what size town we were from, how many ball teams we had, things like that. And his agent just go, he's never done that before.
That's
so
crazy.
Apparently we the jacket might have made a difference. But getting to see ball players like that, it's great. And getting to see ones we got coming in. I know when you were there, that was a really rewarding experience for me because my great-grandson was very little, and you paid attention to him, And I'll never forget that because he gave you a big hug, if I remember right.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
things like that is what means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So
That's what, and that, I mean, obviously having a big name is great for, you know, bringing in people and, you know, for people to come and attend, and because it's a 3-day event and there's lots of things to do. But just to enjoy the atmosphere, even if there wasn't a big name coming to town, is like, it meant a lot for me. And I vowed to make it a part of my summer every year to make, to attend. And obviously I couldn't last year, but, I plan on doing that this year. And, I'm just excited to just get the chance to meet. And I think that's why a lot of people will come too. Like, you know, for me, being in the parade was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, and being the head car in the parade and sitting up and doing the presidential wave wasn't cool. But I'm sure that like we talked before, visiting the grave is the highlight for them coming in and just getting to know the history and where Cy Young's from. Because I'm assuming most of the people who've won Cy Young awards probably been into baseball for a long time, right, and know everything there is to know about Cy Young except where he's from. But I think that's important to know, and I'm glad you guys are you know, keeping this going and looking at new ideas. I think that's a great idea, and I wish we can get more adoption from, you know, every Cy Young Award winner, where you can go every year and it's just kind of baked in if they're coming to Cleveland, which now I think everybody plays everybody.
Right. I like that.
Yeah, the Mets, you know, even though Lindor just hit a couple walk-offs against us, the Guardians didn't play the Mets, and this is the first time that Carlos Carrasco and Francisco Lindor got to play against the Guardians, so that was pretty cool. So now it would be even easier to get that done. So hopefully we can make that a yearly thing, because I think that makes sense, and it's something great, and it's something that goes beyond the player and who they like to, you know, mingle with and all that stuff.
And one of the things that's interesting, on the way out to the grave site, we actually drive past the farm where Cy Young had lived.
Oh, okay.
That's where the Benetums lived. That's when he came home from baseball. That's where he lived.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had Dean Chance one year at our festival, our first year, and he invited us, our committee, back to his home to get to see his collection, his Cy Young Award on the wall. Wow. I mean, that's the first time I've ever seen a real Cy Young Award. I mean, something like that.
I mean, I've never seen one, so. Yeah, that's awesome, though.
Just getting to do things like that. If somebody would have told me 25, 30 years ago, I'd be meeting former Cy Young Award winners and Major League Baseball players, I'd have laughed at them. But some things, you never know what's going to happen in the future.
Exactly. And I know that's not why you do it, but that's obviously a great additional, you know, perk that comes along with, you know, keeping this festival alive and well attended and getting big names like this. So I'm just happy that, you know, I got a mini platform to share, and, you know, because I'm hoping, you know, I don't know how you guys keep attendance, and I want to get in, before we close, I want to get into ways that people outside the organization, or, you know, just people who may catch this episode and didn't know anything about this, you know, how can they get involved, whether it's, you know, financially or just how you guys, you know, go about operating this every year, in, you know, because that's something I was asking about since I just took over a nonprofit, a 501c3 organization myself. That's interesting, and I want to know how, you know, what is the best way that we can support the Cy Young Days Festival. So either one of you guys can touch on that.
We'll both get involved in this.
All right.
Obviously, financial would be a big help. Our budget is not really high. We have the most in the bank right now than we have ever had.
Awesome.
Right? And even that is just a little over $20,000.
Okay.
Which sounds like a lot until you start looking at the fees of the ball players. Yeah. Most of the funds that we raise, or a good deal of the funds that we raise, are because of work that primarily on Ed's back. I help quite a bit with them. We have a couple of other people who help a lot as well. with different fundraisers that we put on to try and earn money for the organization, to be able to get the ball player, to be able to get all the other organizations that come, to help. That the financial aspect is probably the biggest part, and we want to start making more money, not so we can keep building up our bank account, but get some ideas to try and help other people who need help. One of the goals of the organizations initially was to help the youth baseball program. So we need to get involved in that some more again, figure out ways to help people with that. And so we obviously fundraising is a big part of what we're doing, as you know, with working with a 501c3.
Of course. And I played at the New Youth Baseball Complex, so hits home for me. I think Josh, you did too, right? Didn't you play New Town? Yeah.
When you were 7 years old, the first time I ever saw you, Percy. That was in our coach pitch tournament.
Hopefully I behaved.
By the way, Dover won that tournament. And every year you were back, Dover won the tournament that you played in. So, but I remember you, the first time brought my attention. You were at our concession stand, and people waited on you. It was, "Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir." That's how you address the people.
Oh, I was on some good behavior that day, and that's it's because of obviously my supporters, coaches, parents, everybody.
That impressed me then, and it still impresses me today. So you're definitely a gentleman, and it's a pleasure to sit across from you right now.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, and I thought you were going to add scholar in there, but
well, I didn't know about your grades in school.
They were good. Don't check my ACT score, but the grades were good.
We send letters out to the businesses for donations. We get that, but approximately half of our money we bring in here lately has been what we've done on raffles.
Okay.
We do basically 3 raffles a year. I have one at Easter. The last 3 years, the lady has made us an Easter basket and puts $50 worth of lottery tickets in it. I was $4 shy of $1,700 on an Easter basket this year. And we're doing one right now that we'll have 12 winners on. And money is starting to tighten up now. We've noticed that.
Yeah.
But I'm probably not going to reach what I wanted. Over Christmas last year, we did a 12 Days of Christmas raffle. Made the most money we've ever made on any raffle, was a little over $5,000.
Awesome.
So we're doing raffles. Dave and myself are doing most of them ourselves. Before that, Ron Porcher, he sat there with me year in, year out. Plus, Ron helped me with the youth baseball program for over 30 years.
Yep. So that's why you named the tournament.
That's Ryan. Yeah. Now that's why it's the Ron Porcher, because
the vintage baseball tournament, which we had them on the Dover Red Legs on here as well. So yeah.
Which I found out that my great nephew now is a member of the Dover Red Legs.
Really?
But he's not going to be able to play in the game at Newcomerstown.
Dang.
So
that's one of my favorite things, and I have to do this one of the years. As long as I don't trying to get drug on the court, on the field, I would love to catch a foul ball and make an out as a fan. Not sure if you remember that, Josh, but that's one of the rules.
Yep.
Fans can catch the ball and the hitter's out.
And hand it to the player, and they're out.
Oh, that's the greatest.
I've seen some things in those games I couldn't believe. We had one gentleman, he said, "Open up the gate to the dugout. I'm going to hit the ball in fair territory. It's going to spin. It's going to go in the dugout, and they're going to shut it. I'm going to get a home run."
No way.
He come up his second time just to show you it wasn't an accident. He did it again.
Oh, my gosh. What the heck?
The rules back then, the way they played, is pretty outstanding.
That would be frustrating as a pitcher. I could say so myself. But now we talked about giving financially, and you guys do raffles on the website, or they can just call and send checks,
right?
Things like that to give financially. Now you said you had how many board members do you think you have right now?
At the most, it's probably 20.
20?
If everybody shows there.
Okay.
If everybody shows up. We got some that's not on their list.
Not actual board members.
No, not board members, but members.
Volunteers?
Volunteers.
Okay. That's good. And if people were like, hey, I would like to get involved with the Cy Young Days Festival, how they can just reach out. I can put you give me the information and we can put it in the description.
Right.
They can either go to our Facebook page or to our web page, and obviously you can communicate with us that way, and we'll get back to them and say, hey, we'd love to have you.
They don't have to be from Newcomers Town either.
Okay.
Well, Jeremy's from here in Dover.
Yep, true.
Ray is from Columbus.
Wow.
Dan's Columbus.
Yeah, Newcomers Town's kind of got a good location.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay. That's awesome. So, if anyone's interested in getting involved financially or volunteering your time or wanting to...
Or just coming.
Yeah, or just coming and attending the event or a chance at winning any of the raffles, make sure you pay attention to their Facebook page. Maybe I'll be getting in on some of the raffles. So as long as there's some Reese cups in that Easter basket, or is it just lottery tickets?
Yeah, they were a lot of candy. Too.
Okay, good. I'll be in there. I don't play the lottery. Maybe I should though.
They were Reese's peanut butter bunnies.
Oh, come on.
The woman that won the basket, I think she won $27. She donated it back.
Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I would do the same.
Yeah.
I promise.
The money, not the candy.
Oh yeah, I couldn't get the candy back. But before we get out of here, is there anything that I might have skipped or missed, or anything else you would like to mention? Because I know we talked about the history of the festival, Cy Young, the Grand Marshal Eric Gagne, the days June 23rd through the 25th, 3-day event. There's a lot of things. There's good food, there's activities, there's I don't know if he's going to speak or anything like that. But you got the whole schedule here.
Yeah.
But you can trip to the museum and all that stuff.
We've got more this year to offer. I think we've had in any other year.
Really?
There's more things we're going to have. We've never had
Laser tag.
Oh,
40 by 60 foot laser tag. The gentleman that doing the laser tag is doing the blow ups, and one of his rules: if you got a little one, the parent's allowed to go on with them for free.
Nice.
They don't get charged, so you're going to get more kids on the
awesome
on the blow ups.
I'll get my kids in there so I can go in and dominate for free. No,
we got putt-putt.
We're doing putt-putt. 8 holes of putt-putt this year. We haven't had that.
We're working on a mouse game.
Yeah.
Really?
Neighboring town is willing to loan us our mouse game. I just have to find somebody to operate it.
Yep.
And it's not afraid of wild mice. That's going to be a key thing because you can't use tame mice.
Yeah. Oh,
I know one of the guys involved with it from working elections, and I told him, I said, you really need to name that game Rodent Roulette.
I like that name.
Yeah. I suggested, instead of letting the mouse go in which hole we win, so you put a cat up with the mouse and see who wins.
Oh, man.
That didn't go over too well.
No, I don't think it would.
No.
Oh man, well, guys, I feel like this is just going to be a yearly thing. So I appreciate you coming back here and sharing, information about the Cy Young Days Festival. It's very exciting this year. Not that it wasn't last year, but I know Eric Gagne more. I was a freshman in high school when he was, getting 55 saves. But you guys keep bringing new ideas, new games, new activities, and I'm sure you'll keep growing and growing. You'll probably outgrow Newcomers Town, like you've probably already have. But I appreciate you guys coming again, and you will see me down there. I'm thinking the 24th. Is that the Saturday?
That's Saturday.
Yeah, that's the dinner. Day of the dinner.
Okay. I'll probably be there that day, because I love to eat. But
well, we appreciate your having us on to help us to publicize the event so that we can continue to grow it and expose more people to the Cy Young experience.
For sure, and that's the goal. I know a lot of people locally are very good at helping out, local organizations like yourselves and mine, the Rainbow Connection, to get the word out. So, maybe we can, get this on another news outlet that might reach more people as well. So we'll talk about that offline. But again, thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, Cy Young Days Festival, June 23rd through the 25th. Lots of events, food, Newcomers Town Museum, learn a little bit more about greats like Cy Young and Woody Hayes, and maybe get the chance to, it's a good chance you'll get to meet Cy Young Award winner Eric Gagne, and every year you never know who they're going to bring back. So I would encourage you guys to look up the information that we have down below and get involved, whether it be financially or volunteering, or just to learn more about either Cy Young, Newcomers Town, the game of baseball, and Tuscarawas County as a whole. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
I got a crib by the water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. I got a crib by the water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. She be on that Henny. I like that Corona. I love her smell. Inhale the